So here's the thing. Outlander on Starz has strangely skipped over a pretty juicy plot twist from the books, but Season 8 might finally be the right moment to bring it into the spotlight. Since this is going to be the last season of the whole romantasy saga, there isn't a lot of time left to tie up all the loose threads in Jamie and Claire's long, tangled story. Still, Season 8 seems to have all the right elements lined up to squeeze in one more intriguing subplot that fans of the books have been hoping for. One of the coolest bits of news about Season 8 is that Cesar Domboy and Lauren Lyle are officially coming back as Fergus and Marsali Fraser. These two haven't popped up on screen in quite a while, so having them return feels like catching up with old friends. What exactly their return means for the larger story is still a mystery, but you can't help but think it opens the door for Outlander to finally tackle that huge twist about Fergus. See, in Diana Gabaldon's books, it eventually comes out that Fergus's biological father is none other than Comte Saint-Germain. Yeah, the same guy who tried to kill Claire back in Season 2. To pile on the drama, Fergus's mother is believed to be Amélie Beauchamp, who just might, though it's never fully confirmed, be related to Claire's family. That would make Fergus tied to Claire by blood and tangled up with the whole time travel business in a way nobody expected. Gabaldon's books haven't completely unpacked what this revelation really means for Fergus. However, one of her spin-off novellas called The Space Between does confirm that Comte Saint-Germain is actually a time traveler. The fact that Fergus's dad shares this rare gift with Claire and that his mother is potentially a Beauchamp can't be just some random coincidence. Even so, the Outlander series has pretty much ignored all of this so far, but Season 8 feels like it's setting up to change that. They even dropped some clever hints in Season 7 when they brought in Percy Beauchamp, who, in the books, shows up to sniff around on behalf of Comte Saint-Germain. Percy was introduced as an old friend of Lord John's, and although he didn't bring up Comte or Fergus on the show, it kind of feels like unfinished business. Now, with Fergus and Marsali finally back, all the pieces are there for this secret to finally come out. When you look back at Season 7, it's sort of weird that this didn't happen sooner. According to how the books line up with the series, the reveal about Fergus's father should have been teased when Percy made his entrance, but that moment just slipped by with no mention of Comte Saint-Germain or any big revelations about Fergus. A lot of that probably comes down to timing. Domboy and Lyle had already stepped away from the show at that point, but since they're returning now, Season 8 seems like the perfect shot to dig into this mystery. Adding to all this, Season 7 already laid the groundwork by reintroducing the idea of time travelers in unexpected places. Remember the Faith Fraser twist and Master Raymond popping back into the story? That was a big signal that the show plans to explore more of its time-bending magic. Plus, there's the new character Captain Richardson, who was revealed to secretly be from the future. It all feels like Outlander is getting ready to weave these threads together, and learning the truth about Fergus would slot right into that bigger picture. There's also another massive question from way back at the very start of Outlander that still needs an answer. What exactly was up with Jaimes Ghost watching Claire in the 20th century? This has been dangling over fans' heads since the first book dropped all the way back in 1991, over 3 decades ago, and it's never been properly explained. The books still aren't done, with Gabaldon planning to wrap things up in a 10th and final volume that should, fingers crossed, deliver the answers. But the TV show is ending first, with Season 8 expected to air sometime near the end of 2025, so it's under pressure to give us some kind of resolution. Both Gabaldon and the show's creator Matthew B. Roberts have made it clear that the endings of the books and the show will be different. Still, they've teased that we'll get to find out about Jaimes Ghost in Season 8, which sounds exciting but also nerve-wracking. There's always that fear the truth will end up being underwhelming after all these years of build-up. So what could the show actually do with Jaimes Ghost? One of the simpler explanations would lean on something already established in both the books and the series, that even though Jamie can't physically time travel, his mind or spirit sort of can. When he's asleep, Jamie's consciousness has managed to reach across time. Remember how Jemmy and Mandy Mackenzie actually saw him in the 20th century? It's like he's able to project himself while dreaming. Because of that, it wouldn't be all that shocking if Season 8 went the straightforward route and just showed Jamie waking up from a dream, saying he saw Claire through a window before being interrupted by Frank Randall. That would technically solve the ghost mystery. But honestly, if that's the payoff, it might feel like a bit of a letdown. This question has haunted the series for more than 30 years, and fans probably want something with more depth, something that feels grand and poetic and ties the whole saga together. The early days of Outlander had such a strong sense of magic and eerie destiny, especially around Jaimes Ghost. It was this haunting idea that Claire was ripped away from Frank and pulled back in time by a ghostly Scotsman she hadn't even met yet. Over the years, that vibe has faded some. Frank is gone, Brianna and Roger have started digging into the science behind the Standing Stones, and Jamie and Claire's epic love story has become more about their day-to-day struggles than mystical forces. But wouldn't it be beautiful if the final season circled back to that original mysterious atmosphere? Jaimes Ghost also suggests inevitable tragedy. From the start, we've been made to feel like these lovers are doomed to be torn apart by time, star-crossed in the truest sense. As painful as it would be, Season 8 needs to lean into that tragic, desperate feeling instead of shying away. It's what gives the story its deep emotional punch. The upcoming books might give the show the perfect moment to do this. Jamie is supposed to face another death at the Battle of King's Mountain, and Claire ends up using her skills to bring him back. Imagine if, during those tense moments, Jamie's soul found its way to Claire in the future. That would bring all the tragic romance and the time-crossed magic full circle. Even if the show doesn't go exactly that way, it really can't afford to play it safe or simple with this. It needs to deliver something big and moving, something worthy of wrapping up decades of storytelling. All in all, there's a bunch of unfinished business that Outlander Season 8 has the chance to finally tackle, whether it's the mystery of Fergus's true parentage or the ghost of Jamie haunting Claire's timeline. Because after everything these characters and fans have been through, it'd be a real shame if the show's last chapter settled for easy answers. We want that heart-wrenching, magical, destiny-driven finale that reminds us why we fell for this story in the first place. And with all the pieces finally in place, it sure looks like Outlander might be ready to deliver exactly that.